old friction call or slate call, whatever you want to call them. Most people call them friction calls or pot calls because they're in a little pot like this, and every turkey hunter should have one. I think Spring Fever makes really some of the best pot calls on the market. They're hand quality crafted, really great sounding pot calls. They're really known for their slate calls. So you might want to check them out in the link below in the description. But I want to talk a little bit about slate calls because I get asked, because a lot of people see me using my box call or they see me on a mouth call in the videos, and so they ask me, do you like a friction call? Do you use a slate call? And the answer is, of course I use one. I've got a couple in my vest every single day, because there has been days when I have actually seen my whole hunt saved from a friction call. I have got turkeys to gobble at a slate call when they wouldn't gobble at nothing else, and worked them all the way in using that one call when they wouldn't even pay attention to nothing else. You know, I've always said turkey hunting's like bass fishing. You just got to keep throwing something out there until you find what they want. And there's been a lot of days when the sound of a friction call is just exactly what they wanted. Now, it's true that I stay on a box call most of the day, or a mouth call, of course, when I'm working the turkey in, but boy, I have seen days when this, when something like this is great. Now, the reason we call it a friction call is because you've got two surfaces rubbing together to make a sound, cause of friction. A box call is really a friction type call. You got a top lid and a base. Two surfaces rubbing together and it makes a turkey sound, so it's a friction call. But I think most people, when they think of a friction call, they think of a pot call with a striker. Now, of course, the striker is going to get you a lot different sounds and different sounds frequencies, and you never know what the turkeys are going to like. Now, we got a lot of different slate calls or pot calls on the market. You've got the old-fashioned slate. You've got copper calls like this one. This copper call from Spring Fever is a big seller. A lot of people don't have copper, so you might want to check this call out, because the last year I got turkeys to gobble at this when they wouldn't gobble at nothing else. But my favorite material as far as a friction call still is an old-fashioned slate call, and I think they're just easier to work. They just got a great sound, and they just really take them purrs and clucks to a whole different level, and they're so easy a child can do it. So this is still my favorite, an old-fashioned slate call. Now, this particular call, I want you to notice this particular call here. It's got a piece of slate in the center, and it's also on the back in the center. It's got a piece of glass, so it's actually two calls in one. So instead of having to carry a glass call in one pocket and a slate call in the other, it's just two calls in one. So this is really neat, and a lot of call companies, I think, are going to this. But you have, of course, you have your slate on the front, and you have a piece of glass right here on the back. Whew, boy, that's echoing out of this holler. Glass is just a more high-pitched sound. It really is good for windy days. It's good to get that sound across them fields and hollers when you're really trying to locate turkeys. But a slate call, man, it's just really great when you're trying to work that bird in them last few yards and get them soft purrs and clucks. And that's why I like a slate call. So friction call is wonderful. Every turkey hunter needs one. This double-sided call, like I said, I just like it because it's two calls in one. What I was doing at the first of the video was a fighting purr. Now, this is a really good tip for you to remember this coming turkey season. When you get a good slate call, you can do a fighting purr just about as good on a slate call as you could anything. That fighting purr, a lot of times, will get them hung up gobblers that's out there 70, 80 yards. It's just hung up. Maybe you can't see him. It's just over the hill. And maybe he's just out there strutting, and he just won't come that last 30, 40 yards you need him. Sometimes I have actually done that fighting purr, and they've actually come running into me. I'm talking a dead run. I mean, you just hear them coming through the leaves, and you're just sitting there, and all of a sudden you just see this turkey come running to you. So don't forget that fighting purr, and there's nothing better to use a fighting purr with than a slate call. So that fighting purr is a really good call to get that hung up turkey on into gun range. Now when I'm in a hunting situation, now today I've been out shooting my 20 gauge a little bit, getting it patterned out and fine tuning it, so I got my gun with me. But when I'm in a hunting situation, sometimes I will have my slate call right beside of me when that turkey's out there 75, 80 yards, 100 yards, and I'm trying to get him that last few yards. You know, of course I usually have a mouth call in my mouth. I want my hands free, but a lot of times I will put my slate call right beside of me with my mouth call, and when he's hung up out there and he just needs a little bit of coaxing, I'll actually try to sound like multiple hens, and sometimes that multiple hen sound will get him to come on in. So I got it laying right here on the ground just like this, my mouth call. That's telling that gobbler, hey, I'm over here and there's more than one of us, and then we're ready to do something. And a lot of times sound like multiple hens, that'll just pull them turkeys right on into gun range. So don't ever forget that fighting purr and sound like multiple hens when you're out there and you got a hung up turkey. So a slate call is just really a great tool to have for both of them occasions. So you always want to have one in your vest. Check out this double-sided call from Spring Fever, the glass on the back, the slate on the front. Really a great call. Can't wait to be out using it here pretty soon. But I hope that answers all your questions. Yes, I do use one every single day. I've got one in my vest ready to go when I need it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Just hit that subscribe button in the corner, and also go down to the description of this video and hit that link. Come over to join my Facebook page. Just like and follow it. Check out DellOutdoors.com, SpringFeverCustomCalls.com, where you can check out this double-sided call and all the other great calls, including this copper call. If you don't have a copper call in your turkey arsenal, get one, because you never know, this might save your turkey hunt. And also my box call, the Ol Sly box call, it's just flying off the shelf. We can't make them quick enough, but you just keep checking and we'll have them eventually. Hope you have a great turkey season. We're getting ready to get out here in a few days and chase one ourselves. See you in the next video.